You're now live. Coming to you live. Isn't that a guy broadcaster?
This guy's a pro. He gets paid to
Cheers,
do this.
mate.
Cheers.
Here they come. The viewers are flying in.
This is a good
Hi,
one.
fellas. Our first comment is from Twitter here. All right, so what do we want to talk about today? There's a lot going on in the football world.
What caught your eye?
Manchester City has caught my eye.
Manchester City are flying.
Flying high. Pep Guardiola. What's your take on Pep Guardiola?
Always been a big fan. So I mean, even all the English Bulldogs were out for him last year. You know,
This guy says Man City out here bodying teams.
They are, and I've always been a big Pep fan. I think he's super intelligent guy, clear. I mean, you know, for me, when you talk about coaching, it's always personality and vision, and do they stick to their vision and plan, right? Like, how clear is that? I think, you know, the old school manager you saw a lot, like, it feels like, especially in the UK, obviously that's what I've watched more than anything, you know, it was more like put your arm around the guys,
Give him a little cuddling, yeah.
Get stuck in,
lump it forward, yeah.
And, you know, but, like, seeing a coach with a vision and a personality to implement and to keep people accountable, and Pep obviously is that and then some. Now, of course, he's had world-class players, but he's putting his plan in motion, and he's backed by a board that's given him tons of money in the summer. And would you bet against him?
No. And did you see his press conference the other day? The guy said to him, a couple times you guys have played out of the back and you've been caught. And he said, have you thought about in certain games changing your style? And he looked the guy deadpan in the eye and said, we need to play out of the back more. We have to keep doing it. We have to keep doing it. We have to get this. Because he said when you play the ball long and it can come right back at you in 2 or 3 seconds, as opposed to when you're building out of the back, yeah, you might lose it every now and again. But more often than not, you're going to create chances from that as opposed to looking for a knockdown. And regardless of whether that strategy works or not, or if it doesn't work, and people might agree or disagree, or you're going to lose to Barcelona the way they did in the Champions League last season. I just love that he has a vision and an identity, and that's what he drills into his team. And we met with Piqué, when we were actually in Mallorca. Sorry for the name drop.
Oh, let me get that for a second.
Piqué. And Piqué, you asked him flat out. I remember at lunch, you said, who was the best coach? Who do you think is the best coach that you have played for or worked around? And he said Pep Guardiola, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said that during his time in those couple of years when Pep was the coach of Barcelona, when they won everything and they were the best team by a mile, he said that they were the way that he implemented his plan and his tactics and his training and everything, he said, were phenomenal.
Yeah, he hinted that it sort of fell apart at the end. I think Pep alluded to that, how he wanted to move on, keep things fresh. But he said at his height, it was unbelievable. And obviously, I think that not only the success, but the way they played was magical. You know, the way they were able to keep the ball and push and pressure people and win it back quickly, and all those things that sound great on paper, but are really hard to do.
And he's doing it this time without a Messi, Xavi, Iniesta. Where do you kind of rank De Bruyne, Gabriel Jesus, Aguero? I mean, where does Aguero rank for you all-time strikers? I feel like when you're talking the best number 9s, I know he's not a traditional 9, what we think of like a Harry Kane or Lewandowski. I mean, Aguero's not always in that conversation, right? I
think he's right up there. I mean, I know he's had his ups and downs recently, especially under Guardiola, but I think he's been fantastic over his career, especially, in the Premier League. He's won them a championship, more or less. He was fantastic that season. I love him, but look at that squad. I mean, some of these guys. De Bruyne's emerged as one of the best number 10s in the world.
Number 10s, yeah, absolutely.
He's got to be right up there.
Steve's on dad duty right now.
Oh, look at it quick.
Look at that. That's proper dad work right here. Live streaming and hanging with a baby. And I'm sure your wife, Leela, is watching right now to make sure that we're being good adults.
I don't know. She's
We need another beer, I think.
She's closing her eyes.
The guy, I can't keep seeing your name because it's popping up too fast, but here it is. Bro MW90. So he says he was asking you about Manchester United a second ago. What are your takes on United losing to Huddersfield? I covered their game midweek against Benfica. I thought they were incredibly boring, and it's just such a typical Manchester United away performance under Mourinho, but they won 1-0. So I have a hard time just lumping it on Mourinho and saying this United team is not exciting, and the way that they play at times it's so reactive, and they just sit in, and they're a better squad than that. But then they win, and they win result. They win trophies. Last season, winning the FA Cup, and then also not the FA Cup, the League Cup, and then also winning the Europa League. I mean, that's what he was brought to Manchester United to do. So what's your kind of take on Mourinho?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a manager with an incredible record, so I'm not going to sit here
and he doesn't let you forget that.
And he doesn't love me because when they he actually made comments. I don't know if you know this.
No,
but,
was that the Inter Milan?
Yeah, when Inter beat Barcelona, I tweeted. I play on an Italian team in New York City, and some Inter fans on the team, and I tweeted out Mourinho starting 11 versus Barca, and I named the 11 best goalies of all time, and I guess
was that when they parked the bus that time and they won, right?
They should.
Yeah, I know. They beat Barcelona that year and then went on to win the Champions League.
Yeah, they won it, and I understand why they did it, but I was just having a go at some of my friends who love, Inter, and I was just trying to pump the brakes a little bit there. But I guess Grant Wall, Sports Illustrated and Fox and wherever else Grant's been had asked him about it, and he was, I guess he got pretty upset about it. Said, I don't know.
So, but are you a Mourinho fan or not?
No, I'm a fan of his record. I don't love that he's defensive, but he's pragmatic and he wins, and so I'm not here to criticize Mourinho. He's a fantastic manager. I don't love his style. I wonder what United fans think. I mean, they went to Liverpool and absolutely parked the bus. And the way Liverpool defends, I wonder why sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, I know Liverpool can bomb on, especially at home. But,
but then you see what Tottenham did to Liverpool.
Exactly.
I know that's a home game versus an away game, but still.
There's some differences. But part of me is like, if you're a United fan, how do you feel about that? Go up there and play that way and lose.
So let me ask you a question. If you're starting a team tomorrow, and you hire your first manager, Pochettino, Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho, Ancelotti. I mean, you can name a couple more. I feel like those are the leading candidates there. Conte.
I'm biased. Pochettino, 1,000%. I would Pep, 1,000%. I would take either of those guys.
No, but you get one.
Poach.
Yeah. Really?
I love Guardiola.
Wow.
I love Guardiola, obviously. But if I have to take one, I'm taking my manager now. Who's taking us from a club that, had its highs but had years and years
with less resources, right?
Less resources.
Pep spent at Bayern. He spent big money at City.
What Pep?
Yeah, this guy's saying
done.
Over Pep. Wow.
Think about
sending
this.
The comments into
if he's
obliteration.
Think about what Poch has done at Spurs with the budget. Harry Kane makes what a backup center half makes at City.
But only for so long, right? I mean,
hopefully.
Let's just say, though, if Pochettino's there another 2-3 years, is Harry Kane going to still be happy if he's scoring the amount of goals he is on the big stage and scoring the Champions League? And is he going to be happy at that wage? I know for now it's good, and the wage cap is good, and that's on Daniel Levy, but...
It's something that literally gives me
Chews
stress and anxiety. I think we need to start paying these guys accordingly, or at least start one by one lifting it up and putting them in the ballpark of where they should be, because Spurs are a big club. They haven't won.
A few people agree with
you. They haven't won, but they are a big club, and they have a huge fan base. They're going to have the resource with the new stadium. Sure, they're going to have some debt with the project, but I mean, we have a manager that has taken us and put us in a position where we can really be are a big club now.
Yeah.
But it's got to go from strength to strength, and part of that is going to be breaking the wage structure.
There's a guy up here who said, Steve, I completely agree with you. He must be a Tottenham fan. But he also said he hopes that when Manchester United move on from Mourinho, which is funny that Manchester United fans are already talking about Mourinho leaving at some point.
If you're a United fan, who do you know?
They want Pochettino.
Do you want to play that style where you sit back? And now this is my other defense of Mourinho. I don't think at the start of the year when they had everyone, they had Pogba, they were sitting back as much. They were really on the front foot a lot more. So maybe he'll get back to that. But maybe without Pogba, he doesn't feel like he has that dominant presence to kind of bridge the the defense and attack. But we'll see. He definitely has a. You're one empty.
By the way, we're gonna get one basketball question in here because I think a lot of people are asking. I saw someone said, "Hey, I'm a big soccer fan from Phoenix, but I want to know what's going on with the Suns right now." Do you want to comment on the Suns? Or you want to let that one just drift off in the sunset?
Honestly, I don't want to comment because I'm not that close to the situation. I will say that Jay Triano, who's going to take over, was my national team coach in Canada.
You were big on him.
Known him since I was in high school. He recruited me in high school to go to University of Vancouver. Love him to death, and he'll do a great job. The reality is that Phoenix has got a lot of young pieces, but it's so young, and it's so hard to find that balance between, instilling a culture and belief and fight in a team.
Yeah.
Whether you win or lose, you're going to play the right way. You're going to play hard, keeping them engaged, keeping them thinking about the group and the team and the locker room, and having responsibility at 19, 20 years old to support a culture and environment and grow with it, instead of starting to think we're getting our butts kicked, everyone's talking bad about us.
Yeah.
What does this do to me?
Yeah.
And to halt their development. So it's an incredibly tricky situation in today's NBA, and it's, as a franchise, obviously it's near and dear. It means the world to me. I just hope that they can develop
there's an easy transition right here. This guy says, who's a bigger soccer fan between you and Kobe? Now, Kobe's parading around right now. I saw him with PSG. He's talking about, was he at Barca too?
No, he was with Harry Kane in the locker room.
He was with Harry Kane.
He's with my boys.
Did that cut you up a little bit? Like Kobe's in there
cheating on me.
He's coddling up to Harry Kane?
Deli had it on his Instagram this morning.
Mamba,
Scandalous.
bro. He's.
I love it. I think he's, it's great for the game, and great for the game here that he loves, or I think he loves soccer.
His person says, "You jelly, Steve."
I'm super jealous, man. My boys get a 4-1 win, and I'm not there.
Are you serious question though? Tottenham played Madrid away at the Bernabeu. Will you go potentially? Have you thought about going back at Wembley against Real Madrid? I mean, that's a massive occasion.
Yeah. 4 kids, probably not.
Okay, we'll save that trip for Mallorca in the spring when we get promoted back to Segunda. Because right now, big win for the boys at the weekend. Mallorca, Valencia beat 1-0. We are top of the table. We are undefeated this season. We've won every game except for one draw. So right now things are trending upwards.
We haven't talked about it that much on this. This is our 3rd episode, but we bought the team as we were part of the group that bought the team January 4th, 2016. Stayed up on the last day of the season. Went into last season with high hopes. On paper, had a great squad and went down. So
relegated.
When you go into professional football ownership and go down within a year or so, I mean, that's like the worst possible outcome. And so obviously it made us
also
look at a lot of
explaining
things.
relegation to people of like the outside.
It'd be like if NBA teams could legitimately go down to the D League. The bottom 3 teams go down, the top 3 in the D League went up. Anyway, I'm sure a lot of you already know this, but so for us to go down so quickly was a shocker, and something that obviously made us realize some of our faults, which was trying to help manage a team or advise a team from the West Coast of the United States that's in the Mediterranean is a tall task. So we've been putting a lot of mechanisms in place and bringing in some crucial people and positions that allowed us to keep much better tabs on it, and like I talked about with the Suns, build that environment and culture, and try to add all the experiences we've had as professionals to make that situation better. And
I think what's really interesting is sometimes relegation, it can be a terrible thing for a club. I think in many ways we viewed it as an opportunity to restructure, to implement some of those values Steve was talking about, to get some people in and around the club that are working on a day-to-day basis that are excited about the project and have energy and want to see the team back where they deserve to be in La Liga, which is, I can't wait till we're at that point. And I do believe we're on the way to that point. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but imagine us taking a trip over and watching Mallorca Real Madrid on the weekend, and then the next week they're playing Barcelona. I mean, these are that's what you
the dream.
Aspire for,
well,
right?
I mean, not only as a viable business that you invested in, and you want to see the long-term success and back the reason you invested in it, but also what an exciting dream for us to be two kind of kids from North America that get a chance to be in ownership in a Spanish football team that plays in La Liga, gets to play against the best players in the world. So that's obviously something we want to get back up to as quickly as possible. I think it was only 6-7 years ago we were in La Liga. So
we got a question about Pep and Man City. We talked about that already. We UCL contenders. Is that like is that a song kind of thing? We UCL contenders.
Yeah, it's like We the North.
Do you think there's any chance Javinko gets called up for the playoff with Italy. I mean, how much? I know. Look, Major League Soccer worldwide is not viewed as a top league. I mean, it's Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A in no particular order. I don't want to rile everybody up, but Major League Soccer is viewed as a tier below, which it's still an emerging league. But a guy like Giovinco that has just been so good in this league, he was actually called up for their not the last set, but he was called up at one point during his MLS career. But don't you think a guy like that, even if he's contributing and playing week in, week out, but just the way he scores from free kicks, everything he does in and around the game should still be judged on an equal level?
I do, because he's been so clinical. David Villa was called up recently, and he's been brilliant. You know, the reality is that there's still a bias, and this goes into the whole debate with Klinsmann and Arena and Giovinco, is that are our players that come back to MLS, are their levels dropping? You know, because the pace of play and the competitive factor isn't quite what it is in Europe. It's a big debate, but I think someone like Giovinco has that little bit of quality, something special that can change a game, whether it's a free kick or a final ball or turning a man and creating a yard of space.
Do you think he's improved? Somebody asked. Do you think he's improved since he's come to Major League Soccer?
I think he has, and I would say that some people need that little bit of success and confidence to be their best, and I think he was obviously floundering a little bit in Europe. That's why he ended up here. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised in the least if he went back to Europe and was a big success.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's improved technically or tactically even. I mean, Greg Vanney is a good coach up in Toronto, but I think where Giovinco will have improved is off the field and the way he goes about his life as a professional. I think when you grow up in an environment in Italy at one of the biggest clubs in Juventus, and you're under the microscope nonstop, and you're viewed as Italy's next big talent, and you're playing in the national team. I think sometimes when you take a step outside of that, and your entire life is not scrutinized under the microscope, and you have an opportunity to grow as Luke is talking away over here. He's clearly a big fan of Giovinco.
He's a big Giovinco fan. He's like, guy's money.
And that's the nanny right there. Oh. That's Manny.
Hopefully he's got Giovinco.
I hear a baby. So the beauty of this conversation here is that you guys can ask us anything and whatever you might want. So that is the next big star right there, Luca Nash. He'll probably be playing with a little bit of a man bun for AC Milan in 20 years. You gonna let him have a man bun?
Or an Alice band? That's once I played.
The baby has more opinions than Alexi Lalas.
I played in an Olympic qualifier for Canada and had long hair all the time and had the little elastic band. My cousins.
Oh no! You can't.
Merciless.
What did they call it?
They were like, "You wearing an Alice band? What's that all about?"
Alice band.
Like just murdering me.
Yeah, you can't get away with that.
Oh,
I wouldn't let you get away with that.
For 2 weeks.
Alex Morgan's headband on there. Somebody says, what about German soccer? How do you feel about German soccer?
German league is fantastic. I mean, it doesn't get as much, I don't know, let's say the sexy factor, but wow, the German league is as good as, right there with any of the top leagues. And I would say they can make an argument they're better than the Premier League now. I know that's a big statement, but top to bottom, it's fantastic, intelligent, hardworking, athletic football.
But still, on the weekend, if you had the choice,
yeah, because
you'd watch Premier League.
I've watched it for 40 years.
Yeah.
So especially, I'm a Tottenham fan. My grandfather, my father are from Tottenham. So I have my cousins are all Spurs fans. So I have a obvious inclination to watch the Premier League because of that. But even the last few years, my bias against the German league has been overturned because you watch some of those games, you're like, the quality's so good.
It is.
Athleticism, the tactics. The skill level is fantastic,
and somebody said the Bundesliga is too one-sided. It has been in recent history. I mean, I think it's 5 or 6. I think it's 6 Bundesliga titles in a row for Bayern Munich. But this season, there's a legitimate championship race. I mean, you have Borussia Dortmund, young Christian Pulisic there. Aubameyang's one of the most exciting strikers in Europe. RB Leipzig are fun to watch. Team that just spent so much money. Upstarts, 2009, they effectively founded the club. I mean, that's 8 years ago. And then you have Bayern Munich, who are right now level on points with Dortmund, but maybe we're gonna see a resurgence under Jupankis, but they don't look as strong as they have in previous seasons. So I think it's a lot more wide open than we've seen in a while. Thoughts on men's national team missing the World Cup? Oh boy, that's a loaded question. We talked about this, and if you're following along right now, check us out on Twitter, Two Dads United, Facebook, Two Dads UTD. Actually, on Twitter, it's both Two Dads UTD. STD. No, not that one. And then also, we're on YouTube. We're going to be on everything. We're going to be doing this way more often. Just kind of go live whenever we feel like it, and that's the beauty of it. And we'll just chat, and somebody wants to know what you're drinking, so that's what we can chat about too.
So, Pilsner.
It's empty. Thanks, mate.
Let's take some questions.
Steve, are you allowed to talk NBA? Who is the biggest U17 prospect? Will the men's national team make the next World Cup? What is this one up here? Sorry, I've just covered that whole thing. Steve, what do you think of the Phoenix Rising FC?
I don't know a lot about it. I know Didier Drogba is in the ownership group and playing for them, which is fantastic.
Yep.
And I wish them all the success, but I haven't followed the USL that much.
I think they just got knocked out of the playoffs, I believe.
Yesterday, I think.
Because I was inviting Drogba to a charity soccer event.
Yeah,
that we're playing.
About that.
He pied me off.
You did?
Yeah, so far.
You might be busy.
Thanks, Didier. See you in Houston, man, November 18th. This guy will be putting the football boots on under the big lights. BBVA Compass. KickinForHouston.com. Selfless promo. Go there now.
Well, it's not selfish for the selfless. It's for the people of.
It's for the people of Houston. 100% of the proceeds going to Hurricane Harvey victims. Steve will be playing. I'll be playing. Landon will be playing. Clint Dempsey, Josie Altador. No offense, guys. I really want you to play my event, so I don't want you to go to MLS Cup because that would mean you can't. Sorry, it's kind of selfish. So yeah, go ahead to the website and join us. Because it'll also be broadcast on FS1, so if you can't, you can still watch this guy try and chop a few people up like he did this morning. He scored the goal of the day this morning in VPL. Oh my goodness! Which are we dubbing it PPL or VPL?
It's PPL.
Playa Premier League. Steve Nash takes the ball, 6 or 7 defenders, drags one, step over with the right, step over with the left, drags another one, throws his back out, gets up, tries to clear it, and scores.
In my brain, I was like racing like time and donkeys and
That was a phenomenal goal.
trying to weave through. It was an absolute fluke, but I'll take
It
it.
was not a fluke.
We needed it.
It was a good goal. We came from behind today. We were down 3-1. The boys rallied,
beat
and
the
we won
French.
5-3. We were actually down 3-1. We won 5-3.
And we were down a man, and they play with a keeper. So, how hot shit are we?
Good.
Someone
We're
said, "Are
excellent.
either you into rugby?" I played fly half in high school. You're Scottish, so hopefully.
I played scrum half.
Did you?
Yeah.
Never got your shorts dirty.
No. Didn't have to make a tackle.
Yeah.
Get the ball out of the scrum. Distribute. Get around the corner.
There you go.
That's the way to go.
All right. What are your thoughts on the Gordon Hayward situation? It's the worst.
That
the
guy
worst,
broke his
the
leg
worst.
for
I mean,
Celtics.
yeah.
That was
I mean,
terrible, man.
Excellent player,
Oh.
all-star, had a big move in the summer. Boston really going to contend for the East with Cleveland. And a great human being by all accounts, who works his butt off, is a great teammate, is class act. So just wishing he comes back as quickly and stronger.
That was a
than ever.
bad one, man.
It's tough.
I saw
never
the
wanna see that.
shot of his ankle like
Yeah.
that.
And he would know.
Somebody actually asked me, they said, how is he smiling after that or not reacting? And I was like, well, obviously I've had my fair share. And I said, you know what, when it happens and you take the impact like that, your body, it's amazing. It just goes into instant shock. And I was looking at my knee that was, not to get into too many specifics, but it was wide open. I could see inside the bone. And I was like, oh. So for him, I'm sure it was just like, boom, that happened. And you're like, oh. It doesn't feel good, and he's looking at his ankle. I mean, that's out for the season for sure.
What
right?
was your worst moment like that? I'm not to be rude. You had a
No,
bunch.
no,
What
yeah.
was the worst time? Whether it was ACL, Johnny Evans, Nigel De Jong?
I think the worst one for me would have been the first ACL tear I had in the Gold Cup final, because the Johnny Evans tackle, I I didn't know how bad it was at the time. I knew it was bad. I could see my bone. The Nigel de Jong one, it came at a terrible time because I just gotten into the team and just played against Tottenham and lost 3-0.
That was right after your debut?
Yeah, right after. No, then we played Wolves on the weekend and then it happened. And then the last one was the one where I was like, this could be my career. That was the one that really hurts because the other ones you're thinking, I'm going to come back.
And it
This
was
is
so
fine.
innocuous.
Yeah, and the ACL, you're like, I was just running straight and a guy hit me and my knee went out. You're like, oh, there's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah. Awful. I mean,
Yeah.
Sorry to put a sour note on the telecast.
Part of life now. That's why we're sitting here recording a podcast and you're...
Who was your
Your
favorite
house drinking
teammate
a
to
pint.
play with? Man, I was lucky. I got to play with so many great teammates. Like, I'm still close with my college teammates, high school teammates.
T-Woo.
Yeah, T-Woo. T-Woo. One of my college teammates went to Mallorca with us a few weeks ago. He might be tuning in. No comments because he's soft. But and then NBA teammates. Man, I played Rex Chapman. Took me under his wing as a rookie.
I
Danny
love Rex. I
Manning,
met him at your
you know,
retirement dinner over here when you retired. Guy is a legend.
hilarious. Got to play with obviously with Dirk and in Phoenix I had Michael Finley was an unbelievable teammate and great friend. Roger Bell, Leandro Barbosa, you go down the line, Boris Diaw, Grant Hill, like just unbelievable.
Well, you just
people.
named the entire team there.
Yeah, well, I did play for 150 years, so it's not that many. But,
All right, rub it in.
just played with some unbelievable guys through the whole entire career. So, I mean, that to me is what I'm as proud of as anything is how many great guys I got to play with.
Somebody asked, what do you make about Ronaldo winning the FIFA World Player of the Year today?
Yeah, Ronaldo's not my cup of tea. I mean, he's unbelievable. But I think Messi's.
I know you're a big Messi guy.
I just think there's just no comparison the amount of ability and pressure Messi puts on a team every time he's on the pitch. I don't think it's ever been seen in the game ever. But I don't want to discredit how fantastic a player Ronaldo is, but. Maybe it's a little bit like Jordan. Jordan
Isn't
only
it
won
pretty
so
amazing
many...
though between the two of these players, the rivalry they've created?
Yeah,
I mean, I think Messi's got 5 World Players of the Year. FIFA.
You know what
Ronaldo's got 5.
In my opinion, I would give all that credit to Ronaldo, because I don't think he's in Messi's category, and he's made it now like
A conversation.
not even. It's more than a conversation.
Yeah.
But there's as many Ronaldo fans. I don't know if there is, but you know what I mean.
No,
you
no.
can make the debate.
You'll notice in here we're gonna have a comments blow up in a second. Ronaldo versus Messi. And then we're going to get a Julian Green comment out of completely nowhere. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm personally a huge Messi fan. I love how Ronaldo, and I don't love the antics. I don't love the antics at all, so that will always shade me towards Messi as opposed to Ronaldo. But I respect what Ronaldo has done as far as his work ethic and his training. And
Unbelievable.
He's made himself into what he is. I think Messi's been supremely talented since he was a kid. And not to say that Ronaldo hasn't.
Ronaldo's had all the gifts too, but he's been such a dogged worker.
Yeah.
Day after day, he's pushed his body and how could you ever not respect and love that out of an athlete?
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
And, hearing stories from Manchester United of Sir Alex Ferguson or guys like Neville that said Ronaldo would be sitting out there hitting free kicks for an hour after training. And
100%.
he'd be in the gym right after, and then he'd be, he'd start eating well. He'd take care of his body, and you do see that from the United days. It was almost when he got a taste of success, he wanted more, and he wanted more.
Last year, like 40 goals or whatever. The last 2 years in United. I would say this: I don't think Ronaldo could be any better. Like he's maxed out how great he is, and that to me is that's the end of the conversation. Like it doesn't matter after that comparing the guys. One of the best to ever play the game, and he's maxed out his ability with incredible talent for sure, but incredible drive to be the best.
Yeah,
so,
that's actually what somebody
respect.
just said there. They said massive respect to Ronaldo for his ability to keep himself at the top level. So it's almost that comment almost tells me that they assume Messi's going to stay there, right? Because it's Messi, but that Ronaldo has to either they talk about Zidane keeping him out of certain games to keep him primed and ready as he's going forward, but. I will say this for Ronaldo and Messi the same because it just happened with Argentina as far as need to qualify for the World Cup, need to win away from home against Ecuador, pops up with a hat trick or 2 goals or 3. Was it Messi hat trick? I believe it was 2 or 3.
They won 3-1. And he bossed
so I forget if it was 2 or
3.
It's 3, so he had a hat trick. Ronaldo, if you need a goal from him in World Cup qualifying for Portugal, steps up. Real Madrid, Champions League final, Ronaldo. So, big players, big moments. Both of them incredibly top level.
And I actually feel like, and I respect him for this, I feel like there was a period of time where Ronaldo wasn't great in big matches. In the last 3-4 years, 2-3-4 years, he's been like turned the corner and been great in big matches. You know, he actually wasn't great in the Euros, but he stepped up and scored some big goals.
Yeah.
But like that's off. That you can't even make that argument anymore, right? Messi, I think he gets that thing. Well, he hasn't won a World Cup. I mean, the amount of pressure he soaks up and creates opportunities for even the final of the World Cup. You know, he obviously soaked up so much attention. And
I know Higuain misses a chance. You know, ball bounces.
Without Messi on the field, you don't get those opportunities. On the day, Argentina had better chances than Germany, but didn't finish. And so, look, you know, they're both. I think like the Russell Westbrook James Harden debate, the MVP race last year. It says more about the person commenting on them than it does about the actual participants. So I think it says to me that sometimes I don't love Ronaldo's antics and that, you know, feel like he loves a mirror and all that. But
who doesn't?
As far as a player, I mean, he's off the charts. Whereas, and you know what, Messi probably has his faults, and I probably overlook them, and that says something about me too. So you know, I always think of myself and what my problem is when I start debating and.
But the international game has changed, though, don't you feel?
100%.
I mean, there seems to me now it doesn't feel like it used to a number of years ago, and where it was everybody wanted to play in those games. Now it almost feels like some of these qualifiers, when you're playing Cyprus away or you're playing San Marino, some players would rather stay with their club team as opposed to not getting injured, because that's where you make the majority of your money. That's where your sponsorships are tied to. You almost hope that your team's still going to get to the World Cup because that's a marquee event. But I think, for one, qualifying needs to change to put more of an emphasis and an importance back on international soccer.
Well, I think they should also, like, I think there should be 2 tiers in European qualifying. I don't think, like, the big countries should be playing in every, you know, like, they should, you know what I'm saying? Like, the schedule's so overloaded. Like, think about the amount of weeks off Ronaldo's had in the last 10 years.
Almost none. I mean,
it's
he's probably 2 weeks every summer.
You know, I mean, obviously they give him an extended break after international tournaments, but it's, you know, you don't get any time off. So I think some of these international weekends should be, you know, for tier 2 European clubs, so to speak, and
kind of like
European
that, kind of like the Hex. Even though everyone seems to think the Hex is way too easy, but you know, doing it to where there's the lower tier playing against each other, playing off, then you get the cream of the crop at the top, and they play off at the end. And there's going to be big teams that miss out every year regardless, but it's in a format that's also more entertaining. It also maximizes the players when they're available to get the highest level out of them. And from a TV viewership perspective, that's what I want to watch. I don't want to watch Portugal versus Cyprus.
I would even liken it in the big picture to basketball in that I don't feel the Olympics is the same allure to young kids today as it did before 20, 30 years ago, 10, 20, 30 years ago, which is a shame.
You did the Olympics, right?
I did the Olympics.
You said it was one of the greatest experiences
best experience
of
of
your life.
my
Yeah,
career.
same here. 2008.
You were in Beijing.
Beijing, yeah. Amazing. And we
was in Sydney.
didn't get out of the group.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such an incredible event, and nowadays I feel like there's just so much out there in the sports landscape that kids can't appreciate, young players can't appreciate as much as it was heralded in the generations before. So, and I don't know, that poses a whole nother subject matter, is where are the Olympics going? Because it is wasteful to like build, you know, stadiums and, you know, build things all over a city and then leave, and then they're dilapidated 3 or 4 years out of there. And you know, I think that's what's exciting about Los Angeles and probably Paris as well, getting the Summer Olympics, is that we have the infrastructure, we have the stadiums, we have all the facilities that they're going to go off of.
Should we go back to amateurs in the Olympics?
I don't know. I think we should keep pros in it, but we have to find a way to allure.
Can we have a look at this right here? Check out this view.
We need to find a way to make it work together and make the Olympics as special as possible. And
what's in that Solo Cup, Steve?
And maybe I think the Olympics should be multi-city or multi-nation even, a little bit like the World Cup's going now. You know, U.S., Canada, and Mexico are bidding
to bring the excitement factor back up around it.
I think it gets more people involved. It gets more people, I think, excited about it. The build-up becomes bigger, and I worry a little bit for the Olympics right now, but I think it's something that we should try to prolong and improve and not get stuck in traditional models because it might die.
Yeah, I agree. Olympics Olympics should live on, man, and not on tape delay like it was last year with NBC.
That's frustrating, man.
So annoying. I mean, in today's day and age, how could you
You can't. It's impossible.
think
'cause you've
that
watched
people
it
are going to
on-
want to watch the stuff on a tape delay 3 hours later that's already cut down? I mean, everything is at your fingertips.
and
You
if
guys
I-
are watching us live on an iPhone
And
right now.
if I remember correctly, the events I wanted to watch, I was watching on my phone live anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Usain Bolt.
maybe that's why they schedule it, because they know all the diehards are watching.
Well,
it.
actually, NBC came out after and said that next year the next Olympics everything will be live, no matter time zone or whatever. Which is actually something that Fox are going to run into with the World Cup in Russia. Is that games here are going to be on at 5 or 6 in the morning? I think is the first window.
It's fine for me.
I know. Yeah, you'll be up with
With
this little man right here, Luca. Luca, what do you think about Spurs?
Come on, you Spurs!
Oh, U.S. soccer presidency questions.
Oh,
What do you think about the Santa Clara Broncos and the Earthquakes making? Did you see Decision Day?
Yeah.
Earthquakes scored in the
I watched the White
94th minute to get into MLS Cup, which was MLS Cup playoffs. The Caps are down. Who are the Caps
Caps
playing
are
the
good,
first
but
game though? Are they playing
they
San Jose?
yeah. But it was disappointing because we were up 1-0 at home against San Jose 8 days ago and coughed it up.
Ronald Koeman out today. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's a shame. I think he's a very good manager. I think obviously you lose Lukaku and you bring in a bunch of new guys. It's going to take time. And the Premier League though is
Unforgiving.
Like you say, it's so unforgiving, and in some ways it's ridiculous. It should almost be like, if you're gonna. A manager got them 7th in the Premier League last year. They
I know.
20-plus
We
goals.
talked about this a lot on our last pod, though, about loyalty towards managers and believing in an identity and a vision. Unfortunately, there's not much room for that in the Premier League. And I did watch Everton play in the Europa League against Lyon, I think it was. Yeah, it was Lyon. They were terribly beaten on the day. They just looked a shade of themselves, and then they were hammered by Arsenal at the weekend. And this has been going on for weeks, and you just get the sense with Koeman that he'd lost his team. So does that come down to personalities for you as well? Of you spend money, you get bigger personalities in the room, guys start to rumble, they question the manager's tactics. I think it's a combination of things.
It's always a perfect storm for me.
Yeah.
I think he maybe a personality or two, or maybe his own decision or two obviously played into it. But you bring in that many new guys and you lose a 25-goal scorer in all competitions, or whatever Lukaku got last year. It's October.
Yeah.
The season started 2 months ago.
2 months ago.
And
Everton are lower half. I know they're off of a 7th place finish. They expect to be higher up the table, but we're so early into this year. It's incredible.
It's a shame that that's the way the game's gone, but media is so oversaturated these days that the pressure and it gets into players.
Who's Earl Watson?
He's the coach of the Phoenix Suns.
Okay, somebody said, do you see any similarities between Earl Watson and Ronald Koeman?
Not really, because I think Earl's got a developmental team. They've got a bunch of young players, whereas Koeman's expected to get them up into a Europa League spot or keep in a Europa League spot and push for a Champions League spot. Whereas Earl's was there, obviously, unfortunately got let go, but was there to develop talent and build a culture. And it's a similar situation, I'll say that. Similar situations in that you find the press, the fans, the players buying into what the press is putting out there. The press has so much pressure and competition nowadays to break through that they just up the stakes every day, and then the pressure's on and the players hear it, the fans hear it, the management hears it, and at some point pressure bust pipes. And,
I like this question from Andrew Southwick to you, and I've actually wondered this myself. He said, if you had the chance to go back and you had the choice between being a professional basketball player or a professional soccer player, what would you choose?
You know what? The obvious thing for me to say would be soccer, because I never got to experience it. But the truth is that, what a ride. I obviously with one scholarship offer to play college basketball, and found a way to keep raising my game and to play it professionally and to play for a long time and have a lot of success. I miss never having the opportunity to walk out of a tunnel onto a green perfectly.
You could do that
manicured
November
pitch.
18th
We
in
could
my
do that. Yeah,
my
let's
game.
sell some tickets so I can feel it. But like I'm, talking to footballers. Alessandro Del Piero, who plays with us sometimes, but obviously the greatest player Juventus
I'll
has
get
ever
that,
had.
man.
Get that name?
Oh, there we
So
go.
it's a long
It's
name.
Ali.
So can
Come
you,
here, sit here, Ali.
It's a long name, so you might need two hands.
You were in my pocket last week in PPL.
But he said like, obviously it's like this at Juventus or around Europe. But he told me one time the feeling of being in the tunnel at Hampden in Scotland in the Champions League. Is that Hampden?
Yeah. No, wait. Rangers,
yeah.
they would play the international games, but either
No.
Ibrox or Hampden.
I think
Hampden was the
Ham-
international.
Oh,
Is the
okay.
international stadium?
No, then it would be Ibrox.
Yeah,
I think
Ibrox.
he was in the. Anyways, it might have been Celtic. I don't know.
Celtic Park. Yeah.
Celtic Park, but he was in Scotland at a Champions League game, and like the noise he said a half hour before the match started would like just raise
Chills.
all the hairs in
It's
the
the
back of
best,
his
man.
neck, and like unbelievable feeling. And I never got to experience that. So
Is that different fan culture between NBA and soccer, right?
sure,
Because I remember that versus Mexico. We played down in Azteca Stadium. It was my first call up to the actual full senior team off the back of the Gold Cup, and it was down in Mexico against Mexico in World Cup qualifying in Azteca Stadium. And I remember walking up towards the tunnel, and you have to go up this like little staircase. It's kind of a spiraled staircase, and you're up, and I walk out, and it's a full stadium, 110,000 I think was the capacity, and I just remember looking around, and it was that roar, the big boos come in,
yeah.
just got
Oh,
you instantly
I can't
riled up,
imagine.
man.
I
It
mean,
was
I've
the
been
best feeling, and also
I've been in those environments as a football fan, and I mean it's
Yeah.
incredible. I can't imagine if you're a player on the pitch.
any urine thrown at you. Yes, there was
Yeah.
there were bags containing yellow liquid. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that was urine. I didn't taste it.
One of the worst like fan experiences was playing in a World Championship under 19 World Championship qualifying tournament in Argentina, Rosario,
With Canada,
where Messi's
yeah.
from. We were playing in the basketball stadium that attaches underground to Newell's Old Boys, where Pochettino played and coached. He actually played with Maradona there, and was a coach there. And we were in under 19s, and I remember like the stadium was it was like two shelves, like full stadium, probably 7,000-8,000, but like a major stadium, but compact. And it was so on top of you, the shelves. And I remember the fans within Argentina like lighting coins and throwing them down at us, taking like ice
So it
balls,
felt like a soccer
ice
atmosphere.
balls and throwing them at us. And you're 19, you're 18, 17, and you're playing in that environment and just getting pelted and having like police take you through the
That's
tunnel
amazing.
into the soccer stadium, then on the bus, and the fans are rocking the bus. I mean, unbelievable. And of course, like we're young and stupid, and we're like,
back to the window.
fans, right? Like, half of the like Canadian boys are like of Jamaican descent,
And half
we're
of them are
just
hiding
going,
under the bus.
oh,
No,
just-
they're ready to go.
Oh, they're like, what? You testing me down here? So like the atmosphere.
It's great, man.
Oh, it's incredible.
I just love the passion like that towards your
Yeah.
sport, right? No matter what it is. And I think that's one thing. You grew up with a different fan culture here in the United States where NBA, NFL, baseball, they're all cheered and supported a different way as opposed to soccer. So it's interesting you go to different markets. So a market like, let's say in North America, Vancouver, then the same versus Portland, where Portland has that European vibe that supports. Seattle's the same. Atlanta is very similar. I used to have friends that had never been to many soccer games would go to a game, whether it was a Dynamo or Atlanta United game more recently, and they said that's one of the best experiences they've ever had just because it's so different. And you find yourself cheering and you start to root passionately against another team. And someone asked me the other day, said, did you see the Atlanta against Toronto game? And I said, yeah. I said, how do you feel about the Atlanta fans booing Josie and Michael Bradley every time they touch the ball? I said, I love it. Because they're not representing the United States now. They're representing Toronto FC, which is a direct competitor. And, of course, they want those guys to have a bad game. And anything that they've done for the United States, and this would happen in England, too. If you play for the English national team, then all of a sudden they cheer for you one week. The next week, it's,
That's
F
professional
you. And,
sports.
it's amazing. So the fact that
The
we're
best.
getting to that point,
The
I
best.
think, is
I mean,
great.
what Atlanta's doing is off the charts. Toronto's been great. Obviously, their team's great now, but their fans have been great since day one. I mean, you could say the same about a lot of MLS teams. Portland, like you said, Seattle. We love what we got going in Vancouver, and you go around the league, and they really are building something special. It still might be semi-niche, but the game is growing. The fan bases are growing. The commitment is growing. You want that real attachment, and the fans in the MLS are incredibly loyal and passionate. And that, I mean, if you wanted to start a league, it's way better to have millions of eyeballs. It's way better to have, a few thousand incredibly passionate fans than millions of eyeballs.
Yeah.
So I think the thing is going in the right direction. It's pretty fun to watch.
I agree. Who's your pick for MLS Cup quickly? I know you have a slight bias with Vancouver, but
you know what? I mean, obviously, Vancouver, we are very close to winning the West. We head into it as a tricky out. I think that no one will necessarily fear us, but we could beat anyone on our day, and we have some players that can change.
I did have a phone call today, and we ended up talking playoffs, and somebody said to me, I think San Jose beats Vancouver because Vancouver were top of the West, and then it's been a couple poor results that have dropped you down, and then San Jose get in at the last second, and they'll be flying.
Yeah. So it's going to be a real test for us. I think you're exactly right. And in the West right now, there's like this much in it for everyone, right? Like the West was a little bit weaker than the East in a sense, and it was so tight that there's nothing in it. But Vancouver's capable of performances. I think it's just
and Toronto going in as the clear favorite. Although in Major League Soccer, that's the beauty and the curse is that it doesn't matter if you win the regular season, you got to win MLS Cup, and not many teams do the Supporter Shield and the Cup.
Frankly, Toronto outplayed Seattle in the final last year and lost. So what is it? What does it all
put a little chip on their shoulder?
How do you feel about can you cut this light in half? Just turn it down.
Getting very bright up there.
So
there we go.
How do you feel about the Supporters Shield? Like in the rest of the world, they value first and foremost the prestige of winning your league. It is, and it makes mathematical sense. You play. There's 20 teams in the league. You play 38 games, and the team that has the best record over the course of that competition. And in most countries, they call it a tournament.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I know, and
here, you win the NBA.
This is American, but American sports and American sports fans get excited about the playoffs. And I remember playing in Houston, and we were top of the West. We won almost every game. Then playoff time. Let's just say regular season. I think we did 17, 18, 20,000. Playoffs was a packed house. Robertson, 40,000. First game of the playoffs, no matter what. And it just showed me again that when there's a lot on the line and there's more at stake, that people turned up and they got invested. So the opposing argument is, well, if you implemented relegation and promotion, every game means more. So does it bring more fans to those games? But American sports fan and the way that our culture is, and this is why I think people get too caught up sometimes in the promotion relegation. Do I like promotion relegation? Yes. I grew up with it in the UK, and I saw what it means. I was a part of a relegation battle with Bolton. Actually, was relegated with Bolton. Saw what that meant to the club. It made you fight for it that much more every day. But I also think culturally, we're not the same as the United Kingdom. We're not the same as Spanish culture, which we're seeing now owning Mallorca.
Exactly right. So you got to embrace what U.S.
values. And do I think it should happen eventually? I think but it's within the structure.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I think that there's enough to fight as a young sport, relatively, and you got to embrace the culture and allow the fans to be themselves. And that's the reality. Is America loves the playoffs. They love do or die.
They do, man. They do, and even these games. The way I thought you did. But yeah, the way that the MLS playoffs are set up right now. So Houston play on Wednesday. Chicago and New York play on Wednesday. They've played this entire Major League Soccer season. The season culminates and finishes on Sunday. They're both playing a do-or-die playoff game on Wednesday. 2 days rest, and then your season's done. You fought this whole season to position for Chicago in I think they're the 3 seed in the East. They're going to play against New York. They could be done. Yeah. I mean, and then even if you win, if you're the Dynamo, you win Thursday. You probably play on Sunday. Yeah. I mean,
no, your legs are gone.
It's a terrible setup in my opinion. It's not set up for anybody to succeed. Yeah. So
and you know what? I know the league knows that.
Yeah.
It's just trying to fit a schedule in, and I think that then it becomes about the calendar. Like the 12-month look, and how do you fit in an off season? How do you fit in a season? When's the best time for the weather? When's the best time for viewing? When's the best time for the playoffs and the cup final to reach the global American sports calendar? So there is no
there's
answer,
no perfect answer because like if people say go to the FIFA calendar. Well, imagine playing in Toronto, November, December, January, February. I mean,
playing the Sky Dome.
Yeah, you have to be playing indoors. I mean, all of these different things that we have to take into account when we're in the United States of America. And then the other side is, okay, well, the way the playoffs are now, ratings-wise, we're going to get destroyed. You have NFL, you have college football, you have NBA's starting the new season. So, you know, soccer, we're fighting the fight, man.
Keep growing, and then those decisions will become easier when you have a position of power.
You know, a lot of people have asked you right now, and we have to get to it. Would you ever consider coaching?
Not really. I mean, I think for me, I would love to coach. I think it'd be a great challenge, and it would obviously, I think, allow me to challenge myself in a ton of ways and to be a part of a team again and all those things. But I really, really value being at home with my kids. You know, they're going to be out the door at some point, and I know I'll regret it.
No, this lad, he's here for another.
Yeah,
he's passed out.
He's out.
Let's have a look at Luca. There he is. Good night. And my phone's dead. Okay, well, we've lost one stream.
Fantastic. What was I going to say? You know, I just
I don't got a
honestly,
charger.
Life is a little bit bigger than basketball for me, and I love waking up with my kids, making them breakfast, getting them out the door, picking them up, and to have that opportunity is invaluable. And for at least the foreseeable future, that's my answer.
I gotta plug that one in. Looks like your Facebook stream's propping us up now, mate. Well said, Steve. I love your perspective. All right, we give you last chance to get a question in here, and then we're gonna enjoy the sunset and have a pint. I think that feels about right, doesn't it?
Not bad.
Not so bad. All right, last question. We're gonna take the first one that comes in. Ready, set. Give us a question, please. Sometime now. We've got one like. We've got an amen. Maybe is the internet not working here? There we go. We got a question. U17 World Cup thoughts. Talk more about being a dad. The hotties are back. Glad I didn't miss you guys.
Is that my
Hey,
mom?
Elizabeth.
Is that my mom?
Talk more about being a dad. Okay, do that one, and then I'll touch it up on the U17 US team.
More about being a dad.
Yeah, I mean, being a dad and being
a dad is the best. Let me tell you, today I had a nightmare with my son. Mateo, not this one. This one's amazing. Mateo, who I could not love anymore, is an absolute challenge 90% of the time. And he's got a heart of gold, but he's an absolute ball of, I don't know, unfiltered energy. And
unfiltered energy is a very good description.
Oh, Carolyn Holden, she's hot. Oh, sorry.
Kenna asking, sing Moana, please.
Linda Frederick, my mother-in-law.
We want Kenna and Luca.
Oh,
I mean, the comments are flying in.
Kara already been
I've been standing at the edge of the water. Okay, I'm stopping.
Don't want to wake him up with that voice.
Long as I remember. I go to bed every night singing Moana.
Rach Holden, do for
Do
the
for the
kids.
kids. No, seriously, all those songs get stuck in my head, and I'm in bed at night on the pillow like this, and I've got Moana, I've got Snow White, I've got, you know,
We're in between, because Mateo's asking for AC/DC Back in Black in the car.
No, he's not.
Yeah, because his cousin's learning it on the guitar, and this one's not listening to me, or doesn't know songs yet. So, anyways,
all right. Well, yeah, I think we answered those questions. That was it. Two Dads United. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you follow all of our channels. Steve, where are they at?
well, we have Two Dads United on.
I'll take it.
Twitter,
on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Two Dads UTD.
That was the hardest question.
Join,
today.
join in. I saw your head. The like all the thoughts were rumbling in here.
I just thought of I forgot all my passwords.
All right, peace. We're out of here.
Let's leave it running again, shall we?
Yeah, shall we?
Sure. I just got to text Leland.
Oh wait, we're still here. Okay, bye. Two dads do Disney karaoke. Okay, bye.